Hi, I'm Randy Hollenbeck, and this is the Music Roundtable. Today on the show, we have Cory Zimmer and Preston Mckay from rock band Emissary Echo.
What's up?
To the end and to the night, in a cage into the ground, searching for purpose until something is holding you down, twirling your web of shadows until your webs unwound. Defeat turns hurt to hollow. 6 feet is your crown.
I just wanted to talk a little bit about how you guys started out, how you started out playing guitar. What age were you? What age were you when you started out with drums?
Basically, I was one of those kids that when I was about 14 years old, I discovered the Black Album by Metallica. And I distinctively remember being on a school sporting trip and having my old school CD player with the headphones sitting on the bus coming back from the sporting event and listening to the Black Album and thinking that it would just be, I want to learn how to play guitar. Of course, I'm far from being able to play like those guys, let's be honest, but so I was probably about 13, 14 when I initially started. I've always loved music itself, but getting into the instrument, I was a little later on than I think some people get into. So that's kind of what started it for me, was honestly Metallica, which I think a lot of people can probably say the same thing. So, and then from there it just, the musical likes kind of expanded to include whether or not bands that are in the classic rock genre, to the new metal, to the thrash. Try to get a little bit of everything in there. So that was kind of what kicked it off for me, though, was Metallica. Metallica, it was. Not gonna lie, man.
As far as what got started me playing drums, I remember I was in the fifth grade. So how old are you in the fifth grade? I don't know, like 11, 12
11,
maybe.
12, yeah.
And we got to try out for music class, and we got to pick a couple instruments that we wanted to try to learn. And I wrote down, I think, was it saxophone and drums. So I tried the saxophone first, and nothing came out when I blew into it. And I'm like, nope, I guess I'm going to be a drummer. So it's kind of where I picked up drums. A little bit of musical influences. I mean, if nobody would probably believe it, I listened to country probably, 20 some years ago. I shouldn't say that. It tells us how old we are.
Yeah,
but
a little bit.
Limp Bizkit really got me into liking the new metal or whatever, I guess. But so that's got me that's what got me into playing.
What was the first song you guys learned how to play?
Oh,
My first song I ever learned how to play was "Sweet Dreams" by Marilyn Manson. His remake that he did. That was the first one with that. It's just a very simple riff, but let me tell you, I thought I was the you know what when I was showing my parents that. Of course, they didn't necessarily agree with the song choice, but I remember that, and it was on a little. I begged my parents, like most kids, go ahead, give me a guitar. I'll do laundry. I'll clean my room. I'll do all that stuff that kids lie and bullshit about and never actually do. But it's what you tell your parents. And so they bought me. It was a guitar from like Sears Roebuck Company or something. It was like a $99 guitar. It was just a piece of crap. And that was the first riff that I ever sat down and learned. So it was Marilyn Manson, his cover of "Sweet Dreams."
I couldn't tell you. I mean, I was in marching band. That's the first thing I've ever learned. But as far as songs, I don't know. My very first band was an original band, so we never, learned covers. I know we brought a guitar player down who wanted us to learn Freebird, but I was like, no, I don't want to learn Freebird. So I don't.
Freebird.
There's nothing wrong with Freebird, no, but I just didn't want to learn Freebird.
Hater.
I mean, it was like a 10-minute song. It's like the same thing over and over. I don't know. So I really don't know what first song is, besides an original with a bunch of friends.
When did you get your first like band? When did you join your first band?
I jammed basically to CDs and to songs by myself for quite a number of years. I was in a local cover band here for a number of years prior to getting into what became this band. And we would play a mixture of pretty much anything, whether or not it's AC/DC to the hard rock stuff to it was just eclectic. I mean, like cover bands are, you play a little bit of everything. It was definitely geared more towards the hard rock genre. I was in that band for a number of years, and it was 2014, I believe, when I've known Cory for a number of years.
In that area.
He used to do a lot of stuff in our local area here in regards to putting on shows. So the band that I was in at that point had been asked to actually open up for Nonpoint when they were brought here for a local show here in our area. And for various reasons, I just, I was having second thoughts about being in that particular band. And I remember Cory after the show came up and said, well, I'm thinking of starting something. So I was like, well, yeah, I might be interested, So we kind of got that together. We were originally under a different band name, had some other members. That kind of went sideways, fell apart, whatever you want to say. And that's when we kind of changed it to this. And, along the route, we've had, like every band, you've had several lineup changes, member changes, and stuff like that. So it was 2014 when he actually approached me to be in a band, which over time then morphed into what is now Emissary Echo.
My first show, is that what the question was? Right? Our first show? Was that? Sorry, Randy. I'm old, I forget. Like, my first show, I played a casino for Battle of the Bands for, there used to be a festival in North Dakota called Rock in the Hills. Is that the name of it?
I think so, yeah.
Yeah. And then there was like 4 or 5 bands, and every band won. We all got to go play Rock in the Hills.
Probably wasn't a lot of competition, let's be honest.
Not really.
Around here, there's not. It's not a big area around here. So we're still pretty
I will say this.
small.
I'm not going to name bands. I think it's the second year we played that festival. The night before, it poured outside, and the headlining act made the festival go by like thousands of dollars worth of plywood to drive their buses into the festival grounds so they weren't driving in mud or anything. It was crazy. Like, the promoter was just losing his mind. And imagine now what that plywood would cost. Like,
Yeah. Is everything quadrupled in price?
Yeah.
Because of the lovely COVID.
So Cory, what made you asked Preston if he wanted to join a band? Did you see that he wasn't like kind of like not having fun or what?
Preston's very professional, I guess, and like just the band that he was in, they were very professional too. It was probably one of my favorite cover bands in the area, but I don't know. How can you resist him?
Oh, yeah. Such a nice looking guy.
Just my biggest thing is playing with guys. We get older, and none of us really party, stuff like that. We all take our music serious. We all have families, full-time jobs, so when we have time to get together, we got to take that time and work on stuff. And he understood stuff like that. And I really don't remember the exact reason, but
I guess because my wife has known him for so long.
Yeah,
him and my wife used to be, or I should say still are, but have been friends for a number of years. So plus that made it easier on the home life, saying, yeah, I'm going to go, jam with Cory. Then, she's not all like, who the hell are you going to be with, So that was good on that part.
That's the reason.
You liked my wife. That's the reason. Yeah.
Yeah. Our wives have the same name too, so that helped.
So you have a drummer and a guitar player now. Where'd you go from there? Who did you approach, and how did you get the rest of the group formed?
So originally, the band name was Black Flame Paradise is the name that we were under originally when he first approached me. And we had, like I said, we had different members, and for various reasons, some people left the band, other people were no longer in the band. Once again, for various reasons that I think every band at some point in time goes through. And when we had lost our initial singer, when we were under Black Flame Paradise, we decided, well, let's just go ahead and change the name, kind of start fresh. Because like all young bands too, you look, I think every band can look back at some of their songs that they initially write when they're getting together, kind of, feeling each other out and how people play and stuff like that. And, you kind of look back and sometimes you cringe a little bit. It's like, yeah, that really sucked. So then we got a couple more people, and around here, like I said, we come from a pretty small town. It's not very big. We're not in LA or Chicago or any of these places where you got, thousands and thousands of musicians to pull from. So we have kind of a limited pool. And, kind of the running joke, I think, around here with a lot of bands is that, yeah, I'm in this band and I played with this person. Well, then we broke up, but now we're playing together in this one, and then that one broke up, and now we're together in this one. So there's a lot of kind of intermingling between. So we lost a couple members. Some of them left, and from there it just kind of started to evolve. And then when the COVID stuff, it gave us a little more time to try to kind of figure some stuff out. And I can let Cory explain a little bit on how ultimately it came down to Dan Chandler of Evans Blue coming on board as well too, because this guy, and it seems to rub some people the wrong way, but this guy, I'll tell you what, is probably the most determined mother humper I've ever seen in my life. If he kind of sets his sights on something, it's
What's a mother humper?
well, I don't know if we're allowed to swear, so I try not to, but so yeah,
Well,
like I said, like any band, it goes through its growing pains, and you have your fights, and you have your this person is getting kicked out, and this person is leaving because of this, and it's just what it is.
to kind of touch base off the Black Flame Paradise thing when we left, the original singer, and you can find some of these videos on YouTube that made it on other people's channels and whatnot, but we had a singer named Cory that to this day, like I love the kid. He left because he went off to college and stuff. He's a lot younger than all of us, and so he was the original singer. Then we, went through a couple member changes to find the right guy. But to fast forward to Dan Chandler, I worked with him promoting a show in Fargo, North Dakota, when he was singing for the band Fight or Flight, which featured guys from Disturbed and stuff. So I was talking to Preston. I'm like, I'm going to reach out to some guys who have experience, because I just sometimes, when a person keeps trying and trying and trying, it's like sometimes you get that, like, do I want to give up? Like, am I, I'll never stop writing music.
I was going to say, of course, I'm sitting there going, yeah, good luck with that. What the hell's he going to want to do with a little no-name band from North Dakota,
I'm like, so I'm going to reach out to some guys that have experience, and reached out to Chandler, and Chandler responded pretty fast. He was just like, I love this stuff. This stuff it's like, it just got him motivated again. And then, time went by a little bit, and then he's like, I'm pretty busy. I don't know what I can do. I'm like, let's just do this. Let's do, write a couple songs. Let's take it a song at a time, and so that's how we found him. I mean, still, I don't know, we have about 20, no, not that many.
Not that many, but
12 full instrumental tracks about ready to go. We're just waiting on him. But Pitter has joined the band now from Evans Blue as well, too. We haven't made like an official statement with that, but I always thought Chandler wrote really slow. Or maybe he was like, maybe he's just not in it. And Pitter's like, Cory, no, that's just what he does. But then if you listen to his lyrics, to me, it's like his lyrics really hit home. And I think that's why. It's because, and he's told me too, he's like, Cory, when I write, I want my kids to be able to listen to what I wrote and, have some kind of connection with that too.
Be proud of it. And
So I'm like, okay, fine. Take your time. Just don't take a year to write another one. No. But so that's how we found Chandler, just, from a connection from when I promoted the show a few years ago.
As I see my reflection in you. If I'm right, you question your maker. It feels like you're running away from you. Held by the promise of anger, dancing with pain through the eyes of the stranger in you.
Okay, so what you did was you reached out to him and you sent him like an instrumental track and said, "Hey, can you write something to this?" Okay. And was it like, did he like record his vocals and then send it back to you, or what?
Yeah, so we had a couple tracks that, so, prior to Chandler being in the band, we released an EP. What was it called?
Erasing the Negatives?
No, that was
Spirals.
that was Spirals
Yeah.
Volume 1 is what we released. So there was 2 songs on there, basically. Preston had the main writing and we worked with a producer on those 2. So those 2 tracks were actually previously released to Chandler singing on them. But we felt, the time, especially the time we put into those and then the money we put into working with a producer, why waste that? And we sent it out to Chandler and had Chandler write to those 2 in particular songs. And then from there, having discussion with, the members now and Chandler, like, should we re-release them with the new lyrics or should we not? And we're obviously quite still a new band to a lot of people. So we're like, yeah, let's just release them. And those are the 2 songs that we sent, which would, if you look them up, it's If I'm Right and Flawed Confession. Were the 2 that we worked with producers on. So, just when Chandler sent those, we're like, yeah, this is amazing. It was just, I don't know. Like,
Yeah, and and I'll be the first.
I'm a
to admit,
huge Evans Blue fan. So when he was like, yeah, I'm like, okay, like this, to this day, I even talk to my wife. I'm like, I can't believe I have the Evans Blue singer singing for us, like,
Yeah.
but. And now Pitter playing bass, like he played bass on our newest single, Your Crown, that was just released last week, officially all over. But
A week or 2 ago, yeah.
we're actually rehearsing in 2 weeks too, so that should be fun as a full band.
Since
We should have done an interview there. If you want to do another one.
See, he's already networked.
How did you guys get your song on Octane?
Once again, I'll let him. He's
So
and I'll say this. Like I said, this band, and I'll give credit where credit is due. This band would not have done the things that we have done throughout our short time if it wasn't honestly for this man right here. Once again, we've been lucky enough to tour with Powerman 5000. We've played with
toured with Pop Evil.
toured with Pop Evil. We've played with Seether. I'm drawing a blank.
I have tons of bands, really.
A lot of bands, and the reason that has happened is because of the determination of this guy right here. Like I said, he's the type that he will keep knocking on the door until you either basically tell him to get the hell away from you, or
I mean, there's
it
2
opens
answers
up.
to everything, right? It's either yes or it's no.
So
It's eventually they're going to answer you, and if they don't, then just keep asking. I don't know. No. But to get our song on Octane, Chandler actually knew or he knows the old program director. I really don't want to drop names just because, I don't know if they. So Chandler had reached out to him, and he had sent the original version of If I'm Right to Octane. Never heard anything back. And then there's two versions of If I'm Right out there, if anybody does their research. The other one, I don't know how to explain how they kind of sound, really, to tell the difference.
It was just mixed. We were
If you
trying
go
a
on-
different mixer. So we had one that was mixed by one person. We wanted to try just something different. And then somehow they kind of just both got out there. So all it is just the only difference is who mixed it and their different ear of what they think sounded best with the track.
And like if you go on YouTube, there's a lyric video and then there's the non-lyric video. So the non-lyric video is the version that made Octane. And what was funny, so the guy who produced that version he's produced like Saul, Any Given Sin, a couple other songs. He, reached out to me and he's like, Cory, I could do a lot with that song. Let me work it, and so we did. And then we gave that version to the guy that Chandler knew. And Octane, I think it was sent to him on a Tuesday or a Monday, something like that. We got a call Wednesday evening, and he's like, you're on test drive tomorrow. And we're like, what? We haven't had a chance to put this in the system. We haven't properly, so to get this out there, I'd really like the opportunity to know when we're going to be on Octane's test drive again. 2 weeks out even would be nice, because then we can, get it in the system properly. We can track it properly, because there's so many different resources that a band can sign up with to get royalties off of. And we never got anything off of that. Not that, we got a lot off of it. Not the royalty part doesn't matter, but the exposure was huge. That 1 week was amazing. And I can see why bands, that get on Octane get a big name for themselves.
It's a huge platform.
So we're working on it again. Your Crown was sent. We have not heard any feedback yet, but it's at least available. So if they do play it this time, people can buy it right away. So it really helps. I think this industry really is who you know. I always read a lot of things where people are like, well, that band must have paid thousands of dollars to get on test drive or do this or do that. And I'm like,
well, I'm sure it happens.
And maybe, but I really believe it's who people know in this industry, really. But, hearing ourselves on that was one of my dreams come true, really. It was awesome.
Yeah, definitely cool.
I made sure every time test drive was on, I was in my car, but it'll happen one more time at least.
We're working on it.
Now you guys are an independent band right now. You're not signed to no label or anything, right?
We've had we've had a couple people reach out for management, but to kind of base what Preston said about myself, I have, and we've had some managers, nothing against anybody, but it seems like I've done so much for this band than what anybody else ever has. So it's I think it's building the foundation, finding the right people that believe in us and helping push, Emissary Echo to the next level, I guess.
I myself was really naive to the business side of it, and you do realize how much more there is to it other than just showing up, playing a show, go get some sleep, drive to the next one. So the current model, it seems, in the music industry I think we all know that the music industry itself has changed, and it's one of those things where you got to make sure that whatever you're doing, whoever you're working with, whoever you were signing with, whatever it might be, makes sense to you and to what you're doing as well too, because there's so many ins and outs that, like I said, I've never even heard of. Cory promoting shows and kind of being more on that side of the door of it, he's been a lot more privy to that stuff. It was really an eye-opening thing to me to see that, and that's where, like you said, we put over the years, we've put a ton of money into this, whether or not it's in regards to the travel costs, being that we're doing it all on our own, to equipment, stuff like that. So it really does have to make sense where you're not going to get yourself raked over the coals, because it's a cutthroat business. It really is. And if you don't watch what's going on, inevitably there's going to be somebody there that tries to take advantage of that.
Our biggest downfall, I think, as a band is social media. Like, none of us understand Instagram. None of us understand Twitter.
So if anybody out there wants to help us out, we're taking it.
What's TikTok? It's like, and then now you have these artists that they're doing this collaboration thing with TikTok that are on Octane now. It's like, really? Like, how did that even happen? Like, so it's just, I don't know. Like,
that's just one of those business things that, you got to think about and you got to try to learn. But
I don't mind being independent. It's nice. We can release music when we want. We do have a couple people that always ask, when we promote, or we'll like make a little Facebook post, like a new song coming, like, is the album coming yet? It's like, no.
Well, once again, I think
the single thing, I just read a thing a couple days ago, releasing singles is like going to be the new thing for a while, is what a lot of bands are.
Well, and once again, no disrespect to anybody or anything, but once again, it's, it costs money to get that producer. It costs money to mix it. It costs money to do the artwork. It costs money to press the CDs, whatever it might be. There's always a cost somewhere associated with there. And right now we're bearing that cost all ourselves. So, we unfortunately just don't, here, we got $20,000. Let's throw this at that. It's just not the case with us. So I do agree with the single idea is, and you see a lot of bands, I think, do that too. What the industry actually holds in regards to, because everything's going digital. Let's be honest. Everybody knows that. I mean, who buy, the only people I think that even buy CDs anymore are going to be the ones that an artist would sell at the show. And I think, my opinion, they're probably more likely to want to buy that CD just to look at getting an autograph or some of that nature, kind of for, that recollection of being at that concert and meeting the artist and whatnot. So, but I agree with Cory. I as you could probably tell from the technical difficulties we had just getting on the interview here, I am not the best with computers. So I don't know. Maybe we need to hire some young 15-year-old kid to kind of help us out here. So we probably have a lot better footprint on the social media platforms if we had that. So maybe that's an idea we need to throw around.
It's always nice answering people's questions, though.
Yeah.
As a band. And we'll always do that. I'll never stop doing that. Unless we get millions of, but.
We're still working on that. So.
Yeah.
What have you been doing since the lockdown? Do they actually play shows out there?
They're starting to get back into it right now. They're starting to open some things up. Of course, they have the limited capacity. I know the O up in Minot is having Adelita's Way come in.
The problem is, though, there's really never a ton of shows up here to begin with.
We're kind of like flyover country up here, unfortunately. They've
had like bar bands have been playing for quite a while. I think if you want to call a lockdown in North Dakota, there really wasn't much of a lockdown. My wife and I own a business that was, like the personal services industry, like salons, that was shut down for what, a month and a half, 2 months maybe?
Yeah, for a little bit, yeah.
That's the only lockdown we've ever had. Besides that, they never really shut down any retail, nothing else. Bars were shut down, restaurants limited, but for what we've been spending time is just writing music, really, and that's, like I said earlier, we have about, I don't know, easily, I think, 10, 12 songs that are just ready for Chandler to write to. So hopefully in the next year or two, we'll have 12 singles.
Yeah, and like I said, I think a big issue that we have here in our area, too, is there's really not, besides your local bars, which, hold 150, 200 people.
If that.
We either have like our event center, which you could see a larger scale act being able to come to and justify the cost, but there's no middle ground really. There's no like club that would hold 1,000 people or 1,500 people. we don't have that here, and that's always been, I think, our biggest detriment. There was a former, what was the one in Fargo called?
Like the hub.
The hub, or Playmate. It was Playmakers, and then was
and
the hub. And I went to a hell of a lot of shows when they were open. They could hold bands such as Seven Dust, Mudvayne. They had that size, but then of course what usually happens is they got bought out, and now it's a private event center. So we just don't have anything. The biggest place we probably have in the state is the Fargo Dome, but of course once again that you're looking at Nickelback can come in. And that's a pun to our other guitar player, Travis, by the way, because he hates Nickelback. But
it's his favorite band.
Nickelback.
One of the demos that was sent to us from Pitter was it Hands Off My Beer,
Hands
Chad?
Off My Beer, Chad Kroger.
Yeah, or something like that.
So that's always been our detriment. We have a new place up in Minot, which is about 90 miles north of us here, called The Original. They actually just recently expanded. It's a lot bigger venue, and we've played up there several times. We played up there with, we were up there with Nonpoint. We were up there with,
yeah.
God, I'm drawing a blank, man.
Really good friends in this.
Blackstone Cherry.
Yeah, Blackstone Cherry.
Yep,
to name it. Yep.
Yeah. So that's probably, if you're looking within a 100-mile radius of where we are at right now, that's really the only place that could have these types of bands to have that capacity. Other than that, if a band were to come in here, I remember when Starset came here, and
I promoted them at a bar.
Yeah, we opened for them, and it was at a
200
rinky-dink little freaking 150 people bar.
It's right when their first single was, I think it just hit #1, like that week.
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember. I think we had 100 people there.
Pulling up in
it was crazy.
Pulling up in their van.
Yeah.
Now they got the big old tour bus, sons of bitches. So
we do get to announce our first show in 3 weeks or so, the middle of May. So that'll be fun.
Yeah,
as long as it doesn't get canceled.
It won't. Ain't gonna happen. Positive thoughts.
Who knows?
So, and it's a big one too, thankfully. So we'll see what happens. But in regards to COVID, the trajectory that at least I can see, things are really starting to kind of get back to a somewhat normal state here. So I would say unless we have some big outbreak, we're probably going to look at being able to start branching out a lot more. So, and hopefully that'll really start to open up all across the country, because let's be honest. I think a lot of people that probably listen to your show and anybody who likes music, the concerts were always the place where you could go for 2.5, 3 hours and kind of forget everything outside, whether or not you're having relationship problems or money problems or you hate your job, whatever it is. It's just your time to just go there and just forget about that and enjoy some good music and just have a good time. And not having that for a year and a half now, I think has really affected pretty much everybody.
Although I keep telling him that this first show back, we could be that band that the first band that somebody has seen in a year and a half. So it's we have to be on
not
our
screw
game.
up.
Because really, there won't be any rock concerts in North Dakota prior to that show. And it's a pretty big band that we get to open for. So it's we literally, the 8,000 people that will probably be there, they haven't seen the show in a year and a half. So
put up or shut up. Better make it good.
Yep. Where are you from? I never did ask that one.
Now the table's turned.
Do you know Breaking Benjamin? Do you know them personally? That's my all-time favorite band. I think I've seen them between 20 or 25 times. So, but okay, yeah, no.
Well, you beat me, so
a little obsessed, yes, but
just
they're
a wee
awesome.
bit, just a wee bit.
I have tried and tried and tried to somehow get a hold of Ben to produce one song for us. I have talked to the bassist, Nick Coyle from Cold. He produced our track "Silence Is Louder." I think he knows Ben personally, and I've tried getting him to reach out. So that's my thing. I'll ask anybody anything. I don't care. Like some way, somehow, we'll get to that point. Exactly.
Well, Ben, if you're listening to this, I know we suck, but give us a chance.
What is your game plan going forward? Like release some more singles? If everything, the states start opening up, or would you book a tour or what?
Obviously, we'll always continue releasing music, and there's never going to be anything set when and how many songs. Like we literally over the weekend, we got handed another demo from Chandler that we're going to probably start recording hopefully this week and get that one done. I don't know, pretty soon, really.
Yeah.
And I mean, if it was up to Chandler, every time a song is done, he would be like, let's release it right now. But I'd like to send it to some people in the industry to get some feedback and try to see if, Octane will grab it or something. So releasing music will always continue. I don't know when or what, but as far as shows go, I keep telling the guys, I think we need to watch venues, and I'd go out and play Thursday, Friday, Saturday nights as much as possible. I don't know if we'll ever make it out to Pittsburgh, though. I mean, I would love to come out there and do some shows. Like, I've never been to New York or north. But between, Chandlers in Missouri, Pitters in Texas, like, there's a lot of great venues between here and there that we need to continue or to reach out and go play. So, yeah, I mean, we'll play as much as possible. As far as tours, I don't know. I particularly was talking to one band who was featured on Octane's fan club. There's a big group on Facebook called Varsity. I don't know if you've heard of them yet. Would love to go out with those guys. They're really good. Check them out. So maybe me and the singer have been chatting a little bit about that one. But again, very early stages, so who knows?
I think we'll just have to,
keep playing it by ear.
Yeah, and this COVID thing, where we might be on a good trajectory, there's other places that might be on not such a good trajectory in regards to, the virus and whatnot. So, we're really hoping that just within this year, we could kind of get over that hump so we can start going out, because we've always said that, with the limited resources that we have here, in order for us to try to make a name for ourselves, we're probably going to have to go out of state. So we understand that you're going to have to travel. You're going to have to go out and play these shows in these other states. And we don't mind doing that. But once again, it has to make sense. I remember in our early days, you jump in the van for a week and, play 5, 7, 8 shows and stuff like that. And by the third show, everybody's going, yeah, I got about enough for a loaf of bread to last me for the next week, and
our very first tour we did, I think we ran out of the budget. Our first hotel we stayed at.
Yeah, we've learned some things along the way, and it's that, like I said, it's just one of those things where you got to make sure you get from point A to point B and still be able to support your family, feed your family, and pay your bills, So we would love nothing more than be able to say, yeah, we can go out for 3, 4, 5 months and play some stuff, but it does have to make sense, just because we don't have that backing that a lot of larger artists have in regards to support from whatever, the label that they're with or anything like that, So do we want to get out more? Absolutely. It's just gonna, like everybody else, I think we're just kind of playing it by ear. So,
I mean, people in your area, if there were shows going on, or if there is shows going out, or people are going out, or when shows start, will they go out? That's another thing. Are people going to be scared to, I remember I went to the Sully, Erna, and Aaron Lewis drive-in tour last October, and they had us all in pods and everything, and like, I can't do shows like that.
That sucks.
Like, I can't. Do a show. And I'm not scared. I'll go out and stand in the middle of 8,000 people. I don't care. But, how else does everybody else feel about that? It's going to be the biggest thing, And then I think, bands also need to work with venues, like the bands that, I used to be a promoter. So if I would start promoting shows again, like that band that wants $5,000 a night, like, okay, I'm going to give you 2,000, and I'll give you a back end because I don't know if people are going to buy tickets. Like, is that going to come back right away? So we'll find out, and I hope everybody works together. Is my biggest thing. Like, I'll go play for nothing for a while just to start playing shows if that's what needs to happen. But
Just get us a hotel room. That's all we need. We'll take care of everything
maybe
else.
a cheeseburger.
Yeah. Bologna on hand. The only real good thing about it is, everybody's going through it. It's just not it's just not the country artists. It's just not the hip hop. It's not the rock genre. I mean, everybody just got thrown into this.
I think our
storm.
genre will kick off a lot quicker, though. Like, I think our people who like the rock music will come to rock shows. They won't care.
Oh yeah, I believe you. I believe you.
Now, how do we get a hold of you guys? Twitter, Facebook? You don't got Instagram, do you?
No, we do.
We do, yeah.
There's an Instagram page. Do we check in very often? Yeah. We're on everything. I mean, we're Instagram, Twitter, Facebook. We have a TikTok page. We have our YouTube channel, Emissary Echo at gmail.com. Find our personal Facebook pages. I mean, I don't have my last name on there. I think Preston's a little disguised. But, find us personally, too. I mean,
I think if you go to any of the major social media sites and just type in Emissary Echo, it should direct you to it. So
find Dan Chandler, tell him to hurry up and start writing some more.
See, that's why I think that's why he's
gonna hate me for this.
That's why he's refusing to every time we get a song to release it, because I think in a small way we're kind of going back and saying, well, you made us wait 3 months to hear this, hear you put your vocals to it, so now we're gonna wait 3 months before we get it out there. Maybe it's kind of a dickhead move to do, but yeah, Dan, we love you. Don't hate us, man.
He knows. He knows.
Anything else you guys want to talk about?
We do appreciate anybody who's ever come out to one of the shows, bought a CD, sat and BS with us. Like I said, I rarely drink, but I've had some drinks with some people, so we appreciate that, and we're just really looking forward to getting this new stuff out soon here. We're looking forward to getting together with everybody as a group, kind of hashing some stuff out. Really looking forward to announcing that show we have coming up here in the next couple months. Like you said, it's going to be with a pretty big name national artist. And anybody in the Fargo, Moorhead, Grand Forks, North Dakota area, come out to the show. We're going to do our damnedest to make sure it's a good one, put on a good show, and what kind of hopefully welcome everybody back to the live music coming out again, where everybody can kind of go out and, like I said, get their frustrations out and be able to see the artists that they love and kind of have that community that we all know we have within the musical environment here of everybody just coming out and having a good time. So we appreciate everybody. Appreciate you all.